Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today we'll be predicting and previewing all of the upcoming action in Sky Bet League One. Your team is most probably in action, so let me know in the comments down below. You're excited for this weekend, and most important, I want to hear your predictions to the games as well. I'll be replying, reading, interacting with all of your comments as per usual. I want to hear from you. You can predict your team's games and also the other games as well, because we're getting ever so closer to the end of the season, the business end of this campaign. This recent subscriber count, the likes, the support, it has been absolutely mind-blowing. It really, really has. That's down to you. Just watching the content, enjoying the content, and I really couldn't ask for anything more. So thank you. I don't get to say it enough, but thank you so much for that support. If you haven't subscribed and you want to help us on our journey to 1,000 subscribers, we're getting so close now. Be part of that journey. Hit that red button and hit the notification bell as well next to it, because that way you'll be notified when I go live, audio recorded episode just like this one. Right, no messing about. Let's get straight into it. We're going to start off talking about Lincoln City as they host against Sunderland. Now, I don't know whether or not you may have missed a few episodes where we're doing the predictions and preview. We sort of changed it a little bit. So have a look at the odds, have a look at the recent form. I think that also gives us a really good indication of where the teams are at now and also going into this game. Have a look at the league table first. So Sunderland are now back in the playoffs. Been a bit of time outside of those playoff places, but they're back in that top six now. And psychologically, for a football club like Sunderland, that's really important. We know the aspirations to get out of this league. It's been going on for quite a while, longer than Sunderland probably want to. But recently now they are picking up some good results. Alex Neil at Sunderland is really getting some results on the table. He's also sort of been able to implement what he wants to implement on this Sunderland side, and we're seeing that with the recent results. They're getting a bit of a groove on now, getting back-to-back wins in their last two games, or going into this game as well. Their Crewe was their last result, I believe. A really good win for them there. And then that does now sort of really sort of sort them out, getting them back in that top six, allowing them to sort of have that confidence and have a big confidence boost at a very important time in this season. I think that's really significant. As for Lincoln, I've said it every time, Lincoln haven't enjoyed a great season on the whole. They lost to Rotherham as of recording yesterday at 2-1, which isn't an embarrassment at all. Rotherham are a fantastic side, top of the table as you can see, and probably will go on to win the league. So it's not an embarrassment at all. They did go 2-0 down in the game, I believe, as well, but 2-1 as a final score is certainly not an embarrassment. But regardless of that, they're not really where they want to be, and getting and ensuring safety really will be what Michael Appleton is going to be wanting from this Lincoln City side and from his Lincoln City side. In terms of the odds, Lincoln City are 2-1, which is an expected chance normally around 33%. For Lincoln specifically, that's 30%. For Sunderland, it's 6-5, and that's a 45% chance. The bookies do see Sunderland as the favourites. You can probably see why, even with the home advantage being very significant this season and really across football. They do see Sunderland as those favourites, probably due to the fact that they are in league position, a much better side, and in better form as well. In terms of the recent form, they did lose to Rotherham, as I mentioned, and it was, Crewe. They won 2-0, two late goals, sort of saving Sunderland in that sense. From what I heard, not a great performance from Sunderland across the 90 minutes, but two moments that really decided a really good win against Crewe. Like I said, back in the top six. It's going to be a really interesting game, this one, because I think, we've seen Lincoln City, they beat Sheffield Wednesday at home quite recently, and it sort of shocked them as well. Could that happen similarly in this one? I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to go with a draw, though. I'm going to go with Lincoln City 1, Sunderland 1. So, and wouldn't be a bad result, really, for Sunderland, I wouldn't say. They are going to want to win this one, and we look at how tight it is around the top six, and teams trying to finish in the top six. You do need to be winning sort of games, but I think we've seen Sheffield Wednesday go to Lincoln City quite recently and get a really poor result there, and Lincoln come out and win that game. I want to go with the draw in this one. I might get a little bit of stick from Sunderland fans. I do apologise. I want to go with the draw here. Lincoln City 1, Sunderland 1. If it makes it any better, Sunderland fans, you're either going to draw or win this one. But I'm going to stick with my gut. Yeah, I'm going to go with 1-1 Lincoln City against Sunderland. Right then, where are we going to go next? I'm not going to go in order because I want to sort of save a few games to different points in the episode. I know we've got the Portsmouth-Wigan game. We'll come back to that. That's a Portsmouth-Wigan game. That's a massive game, and I think we'll sort of wait and see for that one. Let's go to this one. Let's go to Gillingham against Sheffield Wednesday. Because Gillingham are on a little bit of a revival at the moment. Obviously, Neil Harris came in, and we're seeing a really good improvement in Gillingham. Even though they lost their last game, we are sort of slowly tampering their way out of the bottom four. And with teams like Fleetwood, Wimbledon, and Lincoln City, you really could say, I wouldn't say Lincoln City, I probably wouldn't put them in that category. They are sort of a little bit, they have sort of like, I guess, peeled away from the teams in around that relegation battle. Ultimately, Gillingham have seen a bit of a revival, and I've they've lost their last game, but teams are dropping points around them, teams are losing around them, and it is allowing them, when you do get a point or when you do get a win like they did in the game before last, that's huge for them, absolutely massive for them. That can take them out of that bottom four, I'd say, fairly easily. We look at Wimbledon's form, 3 defeats on the trot. As for Fleetwood, it's even worse, 5 defeats and counting in a row, with defeats. I mean, it's a really, really dodgy place to be at the moment, Fleetwood. We'll come on to that in just a second. But for Gillingham, that's really, really quite encouraging. It's really quite encouraging. And a game like this against Sheffield Wednesday at home, it's not going to be easy at all. We look at Sheffield Wednesday, just outside of the top 6, a massive win against Cambridge when they won 6-0, sort of bouncing back from that defeat we mentioned a minute ago against Lincoln City. And they still are out of that top 6. They got a disappointing result as well, you could say, really, with a 1-1 draw against Accrington, saying that's a game you're going to want to win, especially at home. It was a game in hand on a lot of teams last night, a 1-1 draw in that one. It's going to be frustrating. In terms of the odds, it's sort of a 58% chance of winning for Sheffield Wednesday, around 22% chance for Gillingham. So it does see Sheffield Wednesday favourites, and you probably can see why. And I am going to go the Sheffield Wednesday win, although Gillingham are getting better. I do believe that, and they may well stay up this season. I think Sheffield Wednesday are going to win this game. They're going to get bounced back from a disappointing 2 points drop, you should say, against Accrington Stanley. I'm going to go with Gillingham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2 in this one. So then, let's go to the next one. We're going to go to... What game we're going to go to? We're going to go to this one. Cheltenham Town against AFC Wimbledon. I mentioned AFC Wimbledon just a second ago. They're not enjoying a great run of form. We'll start off with Cheltenham because they definitely deserve some credit. They've been brilliant this season. A side that came into League One in the summer and I think have been very, very quite impressive. Staying in the league, a lot of people predicted a team like Cheltenham and this Cheltenham side to get relegated, to go straight back down to League Two. They've proved people very, very wrong there because they've been fantastic this season. Very well organised, difficult to beat and getting some big points against some top
I
sides. want to have a look at the odds, of course. 49% for Cheltenham, 29% for Wimbledon, actually 54-39. So it's actually a little bit closer when we look at those odds for those specific sides. But it does see, on the whole, Cheltenham the favourites. In this game, of course, being the home side, higher in the league, better in form as well. Of course, Cheltenham come into this game with a win, whereas Wimbledon are coming into this game with 3 defeats on the bounce. So it's not good at all for Wimbledon, making this one a really, really quite difficult game. They need to start getting some results. We look at Wimbledon's recent form. It is a little bit shambolic. Not a win. Is that not a win? Can we go any further than that? I don't think we can very easily, but you can see there, as far as I can go, I can't see a win there. A draw to Cheltenham, actually, is the first game we can see on here. 2-2, so they're going to probably be hoping to get... Can they get a point from this one? It'd be a big point. Like I said, a lot of teams down there losing still, as you can imagine. A point is a brilliant, quite a good result, not a brilliant result, but it's a good result when you've got other teams around them, Fleetwood, for example, who are losing a lot of games. Like I said, we'll talk about Cheltenham first and foremost. A brilliant win against Morecambe, 3-1 in that one. Another team that really are quite struggling. But in this one, I'm going to go the Cheltenham win. I'm sorry, Wimbledon fans, but I am going to go the Cheltenham win. I'm going to go with Cheltenham 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. A tight game, but I can see Cheltenham, the home side, and say a better side this season. I can see them prevail in this one. 1-0 to Cheltenham. So then let's go to the next one. Let's go. I'm going to keep coming back to that one. I know a lot of people are going to be wanting me to click on that one. Let's go to Fleetwood against Doncaster Rovers. We've mentioned a lot of Fleetwood already in this episode. We haven't actually spoken about them directly for their game, but this is a bit of a relegation 6-pointer. Fleetwood, the home side, coming into this game, and I'll have a look and see how far it has been without a win. See here, it's similar to Wimbledon, who we spoke about a minute ago. As far as I can see, I can't see a win when we look at those. And we look at the most recent run of games, 5 games without a win, and 5 defeats in a row, should I say. That is a really, really quite concerning set of results there. And we look at the league table, you can see while they are slowly getting closer and creeping towards that bottom 4, there really, really is a level of concern at Fleetwood, and you can see why. Whereas when we look at Doncaster, again, another team currently in that bottom 4, is it season over for them? Is it relegation sort of nailed on for them? I've got an episode coming out quite soon, talking about sort of unpopular opinions, and one of them I'm going to speak about the relegation battle. 29 points they currently sit on. Wimbledon on 33, so they need at least 4 points to get out that bottom four. Sort of the games in hand are slowly evening out a little bit. Wimbledon have got a game in hand on the teams, all the teams, should I say, in that bottom four. So it's not completely nailed on relegation, but it's certainly a big game here. Can Doncaster snatch a big win against Fleetwood? Fleetwood need a result. Fleetwood really, really need a result. So do Doncaster, and that's why I'd say it's a bit of a relegation 6-pointer. Both teams need those results. I'm going to go the draw, though, which probably wouldn't be a brilliant result for either side. But probably better for Fleetwood, I'd say. I'm going to go the draw, though. I'm going to go Fleetwood 1, Doncaster 1 in this one. I think Fleetwood would probably take that a little bit more. End the consecutive defeat run, get back to a point, and not really allow Doncaster to get any ground on them. I think that would be a really quite good result for Fleetwood. I'm going to go with 1-1 in this one. So then next up, let's go to Crewe against Bolton Wanderers. I released an episode yesterday as of recording talking about Bolton, and I got sort of mixed reviews in terms of Bolton fans and football fans on that one. Generally, people seem to enjoy it, but sort of a mixed opinions on it. The very famous TikTok stars, Ollie Ball and Jacob, commenting on that one. Of course, massive Bolton fans. If you're watching, lads, thank you very much for watching and commenting. I really do appreciate it. Huge names in the TikTok world and YouTube world as well. I'd say social media, to be honest. They're sort of, they're absolutely bossing all social media, should I say, really. And sort of, I was reading a lot of these comments, and we have had sort of mixed thoughts on Bolton. I said they were very successful. A lot of people may be arguing they weren't as successful as I was painting a picture. That's what football opinion is absolutely all about. I love hearing what you've got to say. In terms of Bolton's push to top six, I was very honest and open there in saying I don't think that's going to happen. I think that might be a little bit far out of reach, and I probably would have to agree and still stick by that, even if they do get a win against Crewe, who are bottom of the league and have got 4 games without a win. In fact, 4 games losing in a row. Do I think their season's gone? Probably. I probably do. I think Crewe might be relegated. I got a feeling. I think that might be season over for Crewe. Of course, not mathematically over, but not looking great at this point. In terms of percentage, it's 21% for Crewe, but normally, with Crewe specifically, that's a 1% chance of winning. For Bolton, 60%, 69% for them specifically. Clear favourites. However you look at it, Bolton are favourites in this game. I'm going to stick by that. I don't need to go into too much more detail. I think I'm going to be fairly comfortable in saying I think Bolton are going to win this game. Not nailed on. Crewe, of course, being the home side on this one. We know home advantage can play a really big part, but I still think Bolton have got enough. They've got the quality, and I'm going to go with the Bolton win. I'm going to go with Crewe 0, Bolton 3 in this one. A comfortable Bolton win in this. They do need to get back to sort of winning ways, really, after dropping points to Morecambe and Plymouth, of course, last Saturday. Let's go to Charlton then at the Valley, and they're facing G-Floyd Hasselbank's Burton on Saturday. Very close in the league table, and it probably shouldn't be at the start of the season. You probably wouldn't expect them to be this close, but reality and League One has proven to be a bit of a rollercoaster for a lot of teams, and Charlton in particular have had a bit of a rollercoaster season. Unfortunately, downwards for the majority of the ride. 16th in the league, Charlton. I did an episode similar, just looking at Charlton, looking at what's going wrong at that football club, what needs to improve long term. You can check that out on the channel as always. They won their last game. They are now back to winning ways. A win against Gillingham, not completely convincing. Only 1-0, but a win's a win. 3 points is 3 points. And at this point in the season, I mean, I don't think really Charlton are worried about relegation. There was a moment when they maybe would be, but there are definitely worse teams than Charlton in the league. I definitely don't think a late playoff push would be realistic. So they are sort of now settling in a below mid-table finish for them. And again, it's not acceptable for Charlton. I'm not saying that at all. But at this point in the season, they just need to really just keep grinding the results. Just do as best as you can. See out the season, really. Although it wasn't convincing against Gillingham, it's 3 points, and that's all that matters at this point in the season. Similar to Charlton, Burton come into this game also with a win, a 3-2 win, a brilliant win against Fleetwood. A bit of a thriller, a bit of a really quite disheartening result for Fleetwood. For Fleetwood, of course, who we mentioned a minute ago, have lost a lot of games recently. And at moments, we thought they could maybe get a point from it, but Burton were ruthless. Burton prevailed in what was a very, very thrilling encounter, and of course, they won that game 3-2 in the end. In terms of this game specifically and the odds and what the bookies have got to say, 47% to 31% for these teams specifically, 44% for Charlton winning, 32% for Burton winning. So Charlton are actually the favourites in this one. You can see with the home advantage, again, that does play a big part, especially with the bookies. Both teams actually quite on similar form, really. In their last 5 games, both sides have lost 3 and drawn 2 and won 1. So very, very interesting. Both teams coming with a win as well. Home advantage, I think, is going to be key, and I don't doubt Charlton have got a very, very good side there together this season. They just haven't worked, but there is certainly quality in there. I think Charlton are going to win this one. I'm going to go with Charlton 2, Burton, Albion 1. Another close one for Charlton and Burton, you should say, but Charlton edging another 3 points against Burton. I'm going to go 2-1 in this one. I think it's time we hit the game that I don't really want to predict, but it's going to be huge. It's going to be absolutely massive. Oxford United against Ipswich Town. Both sides still hunting for a top 6 finish. Oxford in the top 6, 4th in the league, whereas Ipswich are 9th in the league, only 6 points away from the 6th spot. But at this point in the season, again, every point is massive, and Ipswich are going to be coming into this game and coming in to this specific encounter against a bit of a playoff rival in Oxford United and wanting to get what they really need, which is 3 points. It's not going to be easy. And Oxford United, I'm sure, won't allow it to be easy for Ipswich, and I really, really hope we can beat Ipswich. As much as I respect Ipswich, I want to win this game. Of course I do. In terms of the odds, 44% chance for Oxford winning, which is actually 28% chance. So actually not great odds, really, in this one. 33% for Ipswich, which is actually 24%. Very, very close when we look at specific odds for these specific teams. It does see Oxford favourites only just, though, and I can see why it's this close. I mean, Oxford are in good form. They won a really good result against Shrewsbury Town last Saturday. Of course, let a few teams play a few games in hand around them yesterday, and slightly tightening up, you could say, around those playoff places, with teams now edging closer, and the points are definitely getting quite tight. As for Ipswich, they haven't lost a game in quite a while, but a few draws in there. A 0-0 draw their last game against Portsmouth, 0-0. What I've heard is they got a little bit robbed in that one by the referee, but ultimately it finished in just a point, which means they're going to be desperate. They want to try and put a really, really good go for a top 6 finish, being 9th in the league at this point in the season. They need to get a win from this one. I'm going to go with a draw. I can see a draw in this one. I'm going to try and take my biased side away from it. Of course, that's quite difficult. I want to go with a draw, though. I want to go with Oxford 2, Ipswich 2. A thrilling 2-2 draw in this one. I don't think that would be bad. It'd probably be better for Oxford, but I don't know. It's so hard because a lot of teams around us are playing each other and they're all winning games, and some teams are dropping points, and then that team gets back in it. It's an absolute mess of a top 6 finish, but it's an exciting run-in, and that's all that matters from a footballing perspective. Ultimately, I'm going to go with a draw in that one. Oxford United 2, Ipswich Town 2. Let's go to Pompey then as they face Wycombe Wanderers. Wycombe won last night. A late win for Wycombe, an injury time winner against Fleetwood Town. Another disappointing result for Fleetwood. As for Portsmouth, a defeat last night to Plymouth as well, who are continuing to win games, and now back in the top 6. In terms of the odds for this game as well, 49% for Portsmouth, which is actually a 46 for them specifically. For Wycombe, 29, and actually dead on when they have these odds. They win 29% of the time. Does see Portsmouth being favourites in this one. In terms of Wycombe's recent form, it is getting better. They had a bit of a dodgy patch, and they fell out of the top 6. They now still are out of the top 6, 8th in the league, but only 1 point separates themselves from Sunderland, the same as Sheffield Wednesday. That's what I mean. That's how tight it is to try and get in that top 6. As for Portsmouth, they haven't written off a top 6 finish, but no wins in the last 2, a draw on the Saturday, and then a defeat to Plymouth, which was a huge game in their playoff push. Would have been a little bit of a bummer, you could say. Not a good result for them, really, when you look at the teams around you, and you're losing games against teams that are fighting with you, really, to finish the top 6. It can be very frustrating. A very, very long unbeaten run for Portsmouth, coming to an end last night. But anyway, for this one, Portsmouth against Wycombe, I'm going to go the draw at Fratton Park. I'm going to go with a Portsmouth draw against Wycombe, 1-1. Portsmouth 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1. So then, I believe we're now over halfway through these games. We're rattling through them. I'm enjoying it. Some huge games in Sky Bet League One. Let's go to Cambridge United as they host MK Dons, who are absolutely high-flying in Sky Bet League One this season. Similar to the Unpopular Opinions video that's coming out. So I do touch on MK Dons and sort of deep dive into what has been a brilliant season for them. Phenomenal campaign. 3rd in the league. Hunting down the likes of Wigan Athletic, who did win one of their games in hand. One of a few games in hand last night. As for Cambridge United, they haven't won a game in the last 4, but still 15th in the league. Similar to Cheltenham, a newly promoted side. A lot of teams thought they'd get relegated. Still in the league and doing a brilliant job. I don't think they're going to get relegated. relegated this season at all, and that is a massive, huge credit should go to Cambridge, because they've been brilliant this season, staying in the league, and they look a really, really good side. I watched them play quite recently, really well organised, a great attacking side. In terms of the bookies' favourites, it does see MK Dons the favourites. You can probably see why, although Cambridge have been good this season, MK Dons have been brilliant this season. In terms of that recent form, Cambridge United losing 6-0 in the last one. They're going to try and bounce back from what was seen as a bit of embarrassment at Hillsborough. As for MK Dons, a really, really good point against Wigan on Saturday, yeah. And before that, you can see their amazing run of games, beating Sunderland, Charlton, Bolton, Rotherham, Cheltenham. Some huge teams, absolutely wiping the floor with those wins. And again, a really good point against Wigan, who, of course, they're sort of hunting down really for automatic promotion places. In this one, though, I'm going to go with an MK Dons win. I can see them continuing on what is an absolutely brilliant run of form. I'm going to go with Cambridge United 0, MK Dons 2. I'm going to go with the comfortable MK Dons win. I don't not rate Cambridge. I just think MK Dons are that next level, and they've been absolutely brilliant this season. Next up, then, let's go to Rotherham against Shrewsbury Town. Let's have a look at this game. Let's see where we're at. Rotherham, of course, league leaders at the moment. And I'll probably say at the moment, I will be saying that come the end of the season, because a brilliant win for them yesterday, hosting Shrewsbury, who won yesterday, 17th in the league, Shrewsbury, but a brilliant win against Morecambe, thumping Morecambe 5-0. And I watched them play. I went to obviously the Shrewsbury game. I got a sort of a match day experience and reaction episode of that on the channel. And I said Shrewsbury, in the second half, they were brilliant. They probably had an argument to win the game. And you can see there is quality in that Shrewsbury side. I think 17th in the league is a little bit of a false position for Shrewsbury. I think I've been really impressed by them. And we'll have a look at Rotherham. Although they have been brilliant, I think this game's going to be really quite tight at points. I do believe that. We look at the league, the bookies' favourites for this league game. 65% for Rotherham, which is actually normally 76 for them. 17-20 for Shrewsbury. 19-4 is the official odds there. So it does see Rotherham favourites. You can see why. Home side, top of the table. Very, very good run of form. And yeah, I mean, they're brilliant. So there's no doubt about that at all. But again, Shrewsbury comes to this game, massive confidence, beating Morecambe very comfortably by 5-0. And no doubt a very, very good side, Shrewsbury, who definitely try and exploit areas of opposition. They try and exploit tactical errors of the opposition side as well. And they'll try and make the game a little bit nitty-gritty. They'll try and grind you out. They'll try and use the dark arts of points in the games as well. And they're a very, very difficult side to break down defensively. They're a very good side. I'd also say going forward as well, not as effective, but defensively a very, very solid unit, and they are a difficult team to break down. They're 17th in the table. I come back to it, a bit of a false position in my eyes, but I do see Rotherham winning this game. They've been brilliant this season, top of the table. I'm going to see Rotherham win this game by 1-0. Tight, but I see Rotherham winning 1-0 in this one. Right then, I think we are nearly coming to an end. I'm making sure we don't miss anyone. I think we've got at least 2 more to go in this match week. I think 40, 39. I have no idea. I've lost count at this point. Match weeks is quite difficult. I think it's 39. Let's have a look at this one. That's the wrong match week. Wigan Athletic against Morecambe. I think that might be the last one. I'll double check though, just in case. But either way, Wigan come into this game with a win. Of course, they won yesterday. They beat Crewe. They didn't win yet. They didn't play yesterday. Yeah, they did play yesterday. They beat Crewe 2-0. Very, very comfortable. I thought they did. That was, of course, a game in hand, which they won as well, of one of a few games in hand they've got. As for Morecambe, some disappointing results as of late. A 5-0 thumping to Shrewsbury yesterday. A 3-1 win. A 3-1 defeat to Cheltenham. A 1-1 draw against Bolton's not a bad result. And then a defeat to Plymouth. A draw to Ipswich. And then a defeat to Rotherham. They've had a tough run of games. It's got to be said. Their run of fixtures have been difficult. But ultimately, at this point in the season, it is just completely how many points are you going to get, and let's just grind them out. Now, although they've had a bad run of games and they are not in a great run of form at all, haven't won a game in a while, and 2 back-to-back defeats going into this one. Their season's not won. Their season's not over. They're not redicated by a stretch, because you've got teams like Fleetwood and Wimbledon, who we've mentioned already in this episode, who are also losing games, are also not getting results. You've got Gillingham in front of that as well. All of the teams above them, as in the next 3 teams above them, should I say, are all on 33 points, which is only 1 point away from what Morecambe are currently on. So their season is certainly not dead and buried. It's going to be a really quite difficult one, though. Of course, you're playing against Wigan away from home. The tough run of fixtures does not get easier at all, and there's no reason why why Morecambe can't get something from it, but it's a tough run of fixtures, of course it is. And at a point like this, when you are trying to get every single point you can, this isn't really a result. This is not really the game you want. But again, we've got to give Wigan the credit. They've been brilliant this season. They're probably going to go on and finish in that top 2, if not try and hunt down even closer to Rotherham, because with their games in hand, they can overtake Rotherham, of course. And a brilliant win against Crewe yesterday. Oh, I say brilliant. Crewe are very much struggling this season. Of course they are, but it's an important win. It may not have been an amazing win, but it's an important one and a significant one. You need to win your games in hand. They don't always equal wins. We know that. You have to win those games in hand, and they did that yesterday really quite well. A draw against MK Dons at the time before that, the game before that on Saturday last weekend. Again, a team that we know are going to be are putting the pressure on Wigan. But in this one, I can only see one winner, and that is Wigan. I think they are going to win this one. I'm going to go with Wigan 3, Morecambe 0. But I also do say to Morecambe fans, if there are any watching, and I don't know how many Morecambe fans watch this episode and watch this podcast, but I don't think the season's over at all. I think there really is a good chance you could get something from it, because you've got teams like Fleetwood, like Wimbledon, who are dropping points as well and aren't picking up results. And you've got to exploit that. But a game like against Wigan is not going to be easy, and probably not the game where you're looking to do that. So, yeah, it's going to be very difficult. I can see Wigan winning this one. I am going to go 3-0. Right then, are we missing anyone? We've done Fleetwood, Doncaster. I believe that is absolutely everyone. No, it's not. I nearly forgot Plymouth against Accrington. That is the final game. This is the final game of match week 39. I'm going to be predicting and previewing. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, by the way, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. Let's have a look at this one then. Plymouth, of course, 5th in the table. A really, really good win. In their last one, and they're on a brilliant run of games. 4 wins on the bounce. They've done a brilliant job in recent form, and we sort of question Plymouth. Can they, finish in that top 6? A bit of a dodgy patch at points this season. Generally a brilliant year, but at a point this season, a little bit up and down. They fell out of that top 6. Do they have that inner belief and inner morale within the squad to get back into there and get another run going? They had a brilliant run at the start of the season. Can they get another good run going now at a business end of the campaign? The answer is yes. A brilliant run of games recently. 4 wins on the bounce, and they look a really, really good, ruthless, relentless League One side. But then that's not to say against Accrington either, because they've been very, very good this season, and in recent form as well. Although Plymouth have won big games, and what I would say about Plymouth as well, they've beaten games and beaten teams in games have been crucial against also teams trying to get in that top 6. I'm talking Portsmouth on Tuesday, Bolton on the Saturday. These last 2 games have been huge for Plymouth, and they've got the points, and that again is what's showing a side that want to get in that top 6, want to finish in that top 6, and they're doing that by beating the teams in and around them. You've got to stop the other teams from dropping points. You've got to hold responsibility when, if you don't get the top 6, we can look and go, well, if you hadn't played those sides, then you can go, well, it wasn't in our hands. But if you're going to play the likes of Bolton and Portsmouth, and you do finish the top 6, you've held responsibility, you've got the wins, you've got the points, you've stopped them from getting those 3 points, and you've taken them off them. That's a brilliant side of a top side in Plymouth this season. I look at Accrington, a 1-1 draw at Hillsborough on Tuesday. That's a very good result. And then a 2-1 win against, of course, struggling Charlton on Saturday as well. So, again, they're beating teams and they're beating sides that, again, that they're a banana skin. We keep saying it, a banana skin for these big clubs. Sheffield Wednesday really needed a win yesterday. They couldn't do it. They draw against Accrington Stanley. And that's huge credit for Accrington, a brilliant side this season, who just are a banana skin. They were the same last season. They're the same every season, it feels like. They are a banana skin for these sides. We look at Plymouth, a 59% chance of winning, Accrington 23%, actually 71% specifically, 36% specifically for those clubs. Either way, Plymouth are seen as favourites this one. I can see why. Although I've given Accrington a lot of credit, and I have already said they're a banana skin, I think Plymouth's run of form is going to be huge and play a huge part on this game. I'm going to go with Plymouth winning this one by 2-1. A close game, but I can see Plymouth winning it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, like I said, please hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're not far away at all. Please hit that subscribe button, smash it, hit that notification bell as well. If you enjoyed the content, hit a like as well. That really does well for the episode. Let me know in the comments down below the predictions for your teams, the other teams, what you thought of this episode of the podcast as well. I'm responding and replying to all of them as per usual. Until next time though, take care, stay safe. I'll see you all very, very soon. See you in a bit.